Due to a coronavirus-induced clerical error, I failed to release an episode of Ask the Meadmaker 2 weeks ago. It's the first time this has ever happened. When I say a coronavirus-induced clerical error, I mean time is really weird now, so I'm doing 2 this week. Welcome to Ask the Meadmaker, where I, Ricky the Meadmaker, answer your questions about mead making, mead drinking, mead brewing, and really any question you're willing to send to me. I'm doing a 3-part series. The first 2 parts are things I wish I had known before I went pro as a mead maker. The third part is things I'm glad I didn't know before I went pro as a mead maker. So none of these are going to be silly things like, oh, I'm filming outside because Nora's nap times are really tough. They're going to be real things, sort of. First thing I wish I had known, and this should have been obvious before I started, but it wasn't, how to source enormous quantities of things. If you want raisins or cherries, you go to the grocery store when you're a home brewer. How does one get 4,000 gallons of cherry juice in a year? The answer is, it takes knowing a lot of different people. Most of it comes from a guy named Larry, though. Everyone should have a Larry. And if you want to go pro as a mead maker, you call me, and I will introduce you to my Larry. Speaking of who you know, that's the second biggest thing I wish I had known. Knowing the right people to ask questions of. And Kelly the boss agrees with me that this is the biggest one. Who do you call when you have a tax question about Arizona excise tax? Who do you call when you have employees and you're trying to not play into the 401k system but get them a good retirement benefit? There are so many questions from being a professional, meaning a business owner, that you just don't think about, and having a complete set of people, from insurance people to commodities exchange to lawyers, that you can call when you have a question took me years to assemble. Next thing I wish I had known, related to the first 2, is how nice everyone would be. Not just my lawyer, who I guess gets paid to be nice, but like other people in the mead making and brewing community. When I have questions about, I don't know, where to get can ends that have the right state deposits on it, I now have like 5 different people I can call, and 3 of them are technically my competitors. There are some cantankerous folk in every field, but the mead making community seems to have, generally speaking, a dearth of them. Here's one I could have learned about as a home brewer, but didn't bother to, and regret it to this day. More about yeast health and stuck fermentations. I get a lot of flack about my high fermentation temperatures and failure to rehydrate yeast, and I'll be honest, most of the time, even on a commercial scale, I just sprinkle the yeast right on top, but I am learning more and more every day, and I feel a little bit bad about any time I, of all people, have given someone advice about yeast health, because I feel like a grade A idiot about it probably once every 3 months, and that is something that I definitely could have spent my time learning about. In the next episode, we're going to talk a lot about the nitty-gritty of the business side of being professional rather than a home brewer, but one that seems to fit into the minds of home brewers is, I wish I had known more about the regulations. And federal regulations you can Google. There are actually a lot of documents, TTB, information sessions, white papers, and things like that, and their rules and regulations are antiquated, in some cases just dumb, but state regulations. When you're a home brewer, you can hang out with your friends and drink your mead and enjoy it in public even. When you're a professional in the state of Vermont, if you are seen to consume a single pint of mead, a single sip of mead, will engage in your functions as a brewer, you can get fined hundreds of dollars. I wish I had known that for reasons that I'm not going to specify. The next one that's particularly salient to homebrewers wishing to go pro, I wish I had known how little time I was going to spend brewing and drinking my own product compared to cleaning and filing paperwork and helping my employees with day-to-day tasks. I should have known this. When I was a home brewer, cleaning was 90% of what I did, but I forgot what percentage of my week that would be if I became a 50-hour-a-week brewer. So that's the biggest transition from being a home brewer to being a pro brewer that doesn't scale. Cleaning a couple carboys every week and taking a few hours, you don't really internalize what 36 to 50 hours of cleaning a week will do to a person. That said, I still own and proudly wear my shirt that says I'd rather be mopping. But that is our last question this week. More on the business side of transitioning from home brewer to pro in the next episode. Keep sending your questions, and I will get to them as soon as possible. Cheers.